In order to be good and to win, you have to be precise. Racing is about precision and thinking. You got to be smarter than the next guy.
Those racers who are starting out today in the sport need to remember the heritage, need to remember the history, and they need to share it with our young people in order that we may make the connection between the sacrifices made by Wendell Scott, Willie T. Ribbs, and other racers.
At one point in racing, if you were a female, you were a minority. You know, Lynn St. James has been a crusader. She wants to be out there to make the statement to young girls that when you're looking at a sports career, think about racing. Maybe if we had another prominent black driver, he could say the same thing.
Many African Americans were hoping that George Mack would be that prominent black driver. Mack finished 16th in the points in the IRL's 2002 season, driving for the financially strapped 310 racing team, carrying the torch for all black drivers.
That made me feel a little uncomfortable because it kind of made me feel like I had the weight of a whole nation on my shoulders. To me, a driver is a driver. I just want to do what it is I do to the best of my ability and have a great time doing it.
Color is critically important in racing today, and the color is green. Money fuels everything about modern day motorsports.
My hunch is that NASCAR, the Indy Racing League, etc., would welcome a greater diversity of participants simply from the self-interest of marketing.
For many driving a race car, the cost is prohibitive. For others who aspired to be the next Willie T. Ribbs, so too was opening the pocketbooks and the minds of corporate America.
In my pursuit of sponsorship, I had so many companies just say, we're not interested. When you're literally told that we don't have a product to cater to the black community and it's motor oil, that's a problem. And that's when I started to take a step back and realize there's something seriously wrong with this industry.
It bothers me a little bit because I know that there are some African Americans that probably could drive as well as myself, if not better, but they don't, have the finances to get started.
I think as far as African Americans into racing, it also has to do with other minorities and African Americans who own the corporations or who are in the position to help us to get to that level.
One such place that is trying to make a difference is Adams Kart Track in Riverside, California.
Some of the top drivers have been out there. Richie Hearn, Alex Barron, George Mack grew up there. The African American population has to be educated on the sport. There is an opportunity. It has to be noticed.
Make sure you take care of your line. Don't worry about everybody else around you.
Adams Track is owned by a black family, and they've been racing since 1959, and they inspired me.
While Adams Karting is doing it on the track, Chris Miles is trying to make it happen off the track. That's why he founded Starting Grid.
Starting Grid was founded on the premise that we need to change the face of motorsports in the 21st century. That's our whole purpose, is to make sure that we can help facilitate equal opportunities across the board for minorities in motorsports.
We have a long way to go on a lot of fronts, but motorsports is truly the last frontier for African Americans into the country's fastest growing sport.
I think the blame goes back to corporate America. By 2007, they're going to receive $1.7 trillion of annual spending power by ethnic Americans. But yet they cannot find a way to throw some dollars towards a black driver, a black team, an institution or entity that is trying to help facilitate equal opportunities across the board. That is a problem.
We haven't come far enough, but I think that auto racing, much like tennis with the Williams sisters, or golf with Tiger Woods, that this will be the next in the line of non-traditional sports, that is, in which you have African Americans' participation, in which we will see the breakthrough in that.
What is the sport of the day? What has NASCAR done in the last 10 years that was different than what they did 30 years ago? Is it the commercialization? Is it the passion of the drivers? What is it? And those are the questions that we're left with. And I don't think in answering those questions, race will be absent from the answer. Race will be part of that answer.
Ray Joe Jack, Wendell Scott, and Joey Ray were certainly pioneers in racing, but most importantly, for African American race car drivers. But have their efforts fallen by the wayside? The question still remains unanswered. Why aren't there more African Americans in racing? Sure, there are a few. It took Willie T. Ribbs 75 years to break the color barrier at Indy, and of course, George Mack just last year. Unfortunately, Mack is still searching for a ride in 2003. Currently, the only African American in a major racing league is Bill Lester in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Everyone in racing is hoping for the Tiger, Serena, or Venus to make a breakthrough in their sport. But before that happens, there first needs to be a breakthrough in the boardrooms of corporate America. For Black History Month on ESPN, I'm Stacey Pates.